The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of Hits Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from Hits Freak Radio. Broadcasting live on modern Ghana and our website www.hitsafreakradio.org. Hits Freak Radio News Hour. The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of Hits Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from Hits Freak Radio. Broadcasting live on modern Ghana and our website www.hitsafreakradio.org. Hits Freak Radio News Hour live. The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of Hits Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from Hits Freak Radio. Broadcasting live on modern Ghana and our website www.hitsafreakradio.org. Hits Freak Radio News Hour live.
It's a beautiful morning at exactly 7 o'clock GMT in the studios of Hits Africa Radio and TV. It's time for us to bring you the News Hour live right here in our studios. We are transmitting live on Facebook and YouTube at Hits Africa Radio and TV. It's time for us to bring you the news, and now to the headlines. 4 accused of stealing granted bail. 2 Kaswa teenagers arrested for causing murder. Sarkodie donates $10,000 to 13-year-old for surgery. These and many other stories we bring your way this morning. Stay tuned as we bring you the news in details. Two teenagers have been arrested by the police in Kaswa in the central region for their alleged involvement in the murder said to be related to money rituals. The teenage boys, 16 and 17 years respectively, are said to have lured their victim, a 10-year-old boy identified only as Ishmael, into an uncompleted building and reportedly killed him. They are said to have hit him with an object which resulted in his instant death. The incident happened at the Kaswa suburb of Lamte Mills on Saturday, 3rd of April 2021, between 5 and 6 p.m., according to sources. The suspects are said to have lured him into the uncompleted building while he was playing outside his home and attacked him. He was said to be playing a video game when he was called into the uncompleted building by his playmates, who are known residents in the area and normally visit his home. Police investigations are ongoing, and the police is yet to comment on the incident. But some residents in the area have said the fetish priest and suspect had contacted him to them to bring human parts for rituals. Ishmael lived with the mother and sister at Kaswa, whilst the father lived elsewhere. The father, according to Ishmael's mother, had traveled and had not been able to visit them for some time. The mother said Ishmael normally attended Islamic lessons on Saturdays, but decided not to attend on the Saturday because he was waiting for his father who was visiting. The mother said Ishmael has been speaking with the father on telephone throughout the week and had asked him to visit. So on Saturday, he was home all day waiting for the father and was playing outside whilst the mother was having a nap inside. She said it was Ishmael's sister who rushed in to inform her that he had been killed. The residents apprehended the teenagers and reported the case to Kaswa police. The police moved to the scene and carried the body away. Some eyewitnesses attempted beating the teenagers, but the police intervened and took them into their custody at the police station, according to Graphic Online. Moving on to other stories, Father Andrew Nilante Campbell reveals how he got his local Ghani. Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, parish priest of the Christ the King Catholic Church in Accra, has disclosed how he came to be known by the local name of Nilante. The clergyman, who arrived in Ghana 5 decades ago as a 25-year-old, was sharing his life and work as a priest in a Tell It All interview on Accra-based Asasi Radio Sunday night program. On how he got the name Nilante, he told the host of the program, Nanaya Mensah, it was as a result of the closeness with Ghana chiefs when he used to work at the Sacred Heart Parish, also in Accra. When I was working in Debbie Avenue, the whole area was under my control. Looking after the Sacred Heart Parish, it was all my responsibility. So I knew all the Ghana chiefs. I used to visit them. And I heard the name Nilante, so I asked, what's Nilante? And they said, it is a firstborn boy in a family. And I am the firstborn boy, so I said, I like this one. Ever since then, at the beginning, I was casually just Nilante. Nilante, now it has caught on. He added, even the president calls me Nilante, so I am the firstborn boy of my family. So it is a beautiful title. It reminds me of my Ghanaian citizenship because I have been here in Ghana for the past 50 years. Aside his responsibilities as parish priest, for Campbell's other known engagements in work is lepers with the Wager Rosarium. He is the founder of the Lepers Aid Committee and has revealed that he is prepared for retirement from the church. He will go into full-time humanitarian work. He said he planned to remain in Ghana because it has been home for the better part of his life and that he wanted to be buried here. Moving on to other stories, COVID-19, 4 accused of stealing vaccines granted bail. 4 persons accused of stealing and selling vials of COVID shield have been granted 80,000 Ghana cedis bail each by an Accra Circuit Court. They are 37-year-old disease control officer of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Stephen Gisenu, a disease control officer of Labalaweshi Polyclinic, Lord Pabite, a 42-year-old occupational health and safety officer, Cosmos Alote, and a project assistant and a former laboratory technician of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Joseph Netgazi. Suspects Gisenu and Pabite at the child center. Mr. Alote is being held for dishonestly receiving and pretending to be a public officer. Mr. Gazy is being held over abetment of crime to wit stealing. The accused persons have pleaded not guilty. Earlier, lawyers of the accused persons took turns to apply for bail, saying their clients would not interfere with investigations. They would not abscond when granted because they had families. According to the lawyers, the offenses preferred against the accused persons were bailable. They argued that the issue of bail was discretional and prayed the court, presided over by Madam Efua Owusua Apia, to exercise the court's discretion in their favor. The court admitted them to 80,000 cedis each with 2 sureties each. The court ordered the accused persons to be reporting to the case investigator every Wednesday. The court further ordered prosecution to file their witness statements and disclosures 3 weeks from today. The matter has been adjourned to April 28th. In March this year, the National Security arrested 4 persons for their alleged involvement in stealing and sale of COVID shield vaccines belonging to the government of Ghana. Moving on to other stories, former President John Dramani Mahama has urged Ghanaians to use the Easter season to show love to one another. In a post shared on Twitter to mark Easter Sunday on 4th April 2021, Mr. Mahama admonished all to reach out to persons who may be going through tough times in life. He is risen. Best wishes to you all on the occasion of Easter, a foundational pillar of Christianity. Let us, in our own small way, reach out and put a smile on the face of those going through torrid times. Lordina, I wish you a joyful Easter, John Mahama wrote. Meanwhile, both the president and vice president have earlier delivered their goodwill messages to Ghanaians to mark the Easter festivities. In separate addresses, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia charged citizens to use the Easter season to reawaken their passion and play their part towards the country's development. Moving on to other stories, over 60 dolphins, big fishes, washed ashore dead in Axim, Osu, and Keta in 2 days. More than 60 dolphins and large numbers of different species of fish have washed ashore along the coast of Axim Berry in the Nzema East municipality of the Western region, Osu in Greater Accra region, and Keta in the Volta region in the last 2 days. In Axim Berry alone, Graphic Online's Doche Kobla Akolobotu reported that over 60 dolphins washed ashore were counted on Sunday, 4th April 2021 by the indigenes. Some of the large species of fish spotted in Osu in Accra were washed ashore on Friday, 2nd April 2021. In Keta in the Volta region, plenty dead tuna also washed ashore on Sunday, 4th April 2021. Environmental officers from the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) in these areas are having a hectic time preventing members of the public from consuming the fish or have close contact with them, since it is still not clear what is killing them and causing them to wash ashore. The fears of the environment are that many of these species of fish and sea mammals do not wash ashore alive but dead, and samples have to be taken for laboratory analysis. At Axim Berry in the Western region, all 60 dolphins have gone missing from the shore. Since the processed dolphin is set to attract very high price in the market, reports Graphic Online's Western regional correspondent Doche Kobla Akolobotu. Currently, Marine Police units of the Ghana Police Service and the Fisheries Commission are heading to the scene to help contain the situation and, if possible, retrieve them from those processing it. Investigation of fish mortality. Meanwhile, a statement issued by the Fisheries Commission on Sunday, 4th April 2021, said information got to the Commission about the incident on Saturday, 3rd April 2021 in the evening in respect of the fish mortalities cited at the Osu Castle Beach. The statement from the Commission issued by the Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, Michael Arthur Daisy, said a team from the Fish Health Unit and the Fisheries Scientific Survey Division of the Fisheries Commission was dispatched to the area. Upon arrival at the beach, the team noticed that there were dead, small pelagic and demersal fishes at the shore. Initial observation of the fishes showed no wound or lesion on their bodies. It is to be noted that after 2 to 3 days of death of an animal pathological sign change, samples of the fish were collected on ice to be examined critically in the laboratory. Seawater samples have also been collected at the beach in the Koliklote district in the Greater Accra region. Examinations will be carried out on the fish gills, and other histological examinations will equally be conducted to ascertain any pathological cause. The seawater samples collected will be analyzed for physical, chemical, and other biological parameters. The color of the sea and temperature are normal. We assure everyone that are not working hard to ascertain the actual cause of mortality of the fish. The Commission assured, please, for further information, Contact Mr. Michael Arthur Daisy on 0244 735506. Here lies the end of the local story. Stay tuned as we fetch you the world news.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of Hits Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to Hits Freak Radio and TV. Now let's do the world news for today. In Taiwan train crash, lorry boss offers deep remorse. A construction site manager whose lorry slid onto the railway track and led to Taiwan's worst train disaster in decades has expressed deep regrets. Liu Yixian, 49, said he was deeply remorseful and wanted to give his most sincere apologies. His flatbed lorry was parked on an embankment but slid down it, causing the train to derail on Friday near the city in Hualien. At least 50 people were killed and more than 200 injured in the crash. Investigators say CCTV footage from the front carriage showed the train driver only had 6.9 seconds to respond and the train was only 250 meters, 850 feet away from the lorry. Not enough time or distance for the driver to stop and avoid the collision. The probe is now looking into whether Mr. Lee failed to set the emergency brake or whether there was a mechanical failure in his vehicle. He was questioned over the weekend by prosecutors and released on bail, but on Sunday he was taken back into custody because he was deemed a flight risk and had a previous conviction, Taiwanese media reported. Rescue efforts after the train derailment. Reading a statement to news crew outside his house, Mr. Lee said he would cooperate with crash investigators and take the responsibility I should take. He was then taken away by police. He was part of a team who regularly inspected Taiwan's mountainous eastern train line for landslides and other risks. He was also thought to be flatbed operator. The 8-carriage train was traveling from the capital Taipei to Taitang when it hit the flatbed and crashed inside a tunnel north of Hainan. The train was packed with people traveling to celebrate a long weekend holiday, and many of the nearly 500 passengers on board may have been standing because the train was so full. Some survivors lost their whole families, AFP reports, and Taiwan declared 3 days of national mourning. Crews are still slowly and carefully removing the train wreck from the tunnel. There are fears more bodies could be found. Investigators have been going through the train's recording devices and CCTV footage from the front carriage. The chairman of the Taiwan Transportation Safety Board told AFP. According to the testimonies by some passengers, they heard the horn being sounded, and it is believed the train driver had spotted an object on the track, Hon Yong said. He added that the train driver, who was among those killed, would have struggled to avoid the crash. There have been mounting questions over how full the train was and why there were barricades on the section of the track. This led to Taiwan's Report Minister Li Chai-yang offering his resignation on Sunday. On Facebook, he wrote, "I should have accepted all the criticisms over the past few days, but we have not done well enough. The government has not accepted his resignation, however, and said he should stay in the position until the investigation was complete." Moving on to other country in Indonesia. Flash floods in Indonesia and Timor-Leste killed more than 50. At least 50 people have died after flash flooding and landslide hit Indonesia in Timor-Leste on Sunday. Torrential rain sparked widespread destruction, with flood water from overflowing dams submerging thousands of homes on the island. The affected area stretched from Flores Island in eastern Indonesia in the neighboring nation of Timor-Leste. Rescuers are still attempting to find survivors, and officials warn the death toll could rise further. 4 sub-districts and 7 villages have been impacted. Indonesia Disaster Mitigation Agency spokesperson Raditya Tayi told reporters. After verifying the data with our team in the field, we found that there are 41 people dead. 27 are still missing and the 9 people are injured. However, East Flor's Deputy Regent Austinos Payong Boli estimated that as many as 60 people in the municipality had died. This number has not been confirmed by Indonesian national authorities. The majority of them, 55, are in Lemanel village. He told AFP news agency, "Many people died here because the village was hit by both landslides and flash floods." Officials in Timor-Leste said another 11 people were killed by flooding in the capital, Dili. Indonesia finds voice recorder from crashed plane. Massive fire ranges at Indonesia oil refinery. Suicide bomb attack targets Indonesia church. We are still searching for the areas impacted by the natural disasters. Joaquim Jos Guzmao dos Reis Martins, Secretary of State of Civil Protection for Timor, told reporters. Injured people on the island have been evacuated to neighboring villages that were unaffected and to local hospitals and other health centers. Flash floods and fatal landslides are common across the Indonesian archipelago during the monsoon season, which usually runs from November to March. Moving on to another country is England. Tests to be offered twice weekly to all England. Everyone in England is to be given access to 2 rapid coronavirus tests a week from Friday under an extension of the government testing program. The lateral flow kit, which can provide results in around 30 minutes, will be available for free at testing sites, pharmacies, and through the post. The tests are already offered to school children and their families, plus those who have to leave home for work. The Health Secretary said it will help squash any outbreaks on lockdown eases. But critics of the program say it risks becoming a scandalous waste of money. COVID passports would be time-limited, Minister. Hairdressers and homeware shops will open in Scotland. It comes to Boris Johnson to meet the cabinet to sign off the next stage of lockdown easing in England, which will see non-essential shops reopen and pubs and restaurants start serving outdoors from 12th of April. Later, the Prime Minister will hold a Downing Street briefing where he is expected to confirm a traffic light system will be introduced when international leisure travel resumes. The outline plans for coronavirus passports to enable mass audience events to take place in the months ahead. However, dozens of MPs oppose the use of passports, and Mr. Johnson faces the prospect of a rebellion among a number of senior conservatives if he proceeds with them. Mr. Johnson hailed the plan to offer everyone testing from 9th April, saying, "As we continue to make good progress on our vaccine program, and with our roadmap cautiously easing restrictions underway, regular rapid testing is even more important to make sure those efforts are not wasted." Government statistics show 126,836 people have now died and up in the least 24-hour period. In total, 4,359,388 people have tested positive, up 2,297, while there are 3,536 people in hospital. In total, 31,523,010 people have received their first vaccination, up 97,328 in the latest 24-hour period. The rapid tests are aimed at those without any COVID symptoms and can be taken at home. The government introduced lateral flow testing for secondary school children and staff earlier this year and plans to reopen classes in England by March. In February, The scheme was extended to the families of all school and college-age children in England. Kits were also offered to those who cannot work from home in the pandemic, so they can be tested twice a week. From 9th April, kits will be available through community testing sites operated by local authorities, collection from a nearby PCR test site during specific time windows, existing workplace testing programs, an online home urgent service with kits then delivered through the post. Participating local pharmacies where a box of 7 tests can be collected to be used twice a week at home. Anyone who tests positive using a lateral flow test will be expected to self-isolate along with their household. They can then order a second PCR COVID test, typically used for symptomatic cases, which will be sent off to a laboratory for analysis. If the confirmatory test comes back negative, their quarantine period is considered over immediately and they can resume normal life. The school's testing program, combined with the wider use of workplace testing, has led to a jump in the number of lateral flow tests carried out in England. There are about 250,000 rapid tests a day taken in mid-February, climbing to more than a million a day by the end of March. Dr. Susan Hopkins, COVID-19 Strategic Response Director at Public Health England, said rapid testing might find cases that would not otherwise be discovered, helping to break chains of transmission and suppress the spread of variants or mutations of coronavirus. Year 11 students taking lateral flow children in England have been using lateral flow tests since all classes restarted in March. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said around 1 in 3 people who have COVID-19 show no symptoms, and as we reopen society and resume parts of life we have missed, regular rapid testing is going to be fundamental in helping us quickly spot positive cases and squash any outbreaks. Shadow Health Secretary Jonathan Ashworth said any expansion of the testing scheme must be backed by financial support so people could self-isolate, adding, lack of adequate sick pay and support remains a dangerous hole in our defenses against this horrific virus. The latest data shows that of the 4.2 million lateral flow tests taken in schools and colleges in the week, from 18th to 24th of March, 4,502 returned a positive result. Critics of the program say that when rates are at low levels, it makes it hard to distinguish between actual infections and so-called false positives, an error where the test registers a positive result incorrectly. Mass testing is a scandalous waste of time, said Alison Pollock, professor of public health at Newcastle University, when the prevalence rate of coronavirus. Here lies the end of the foreign news. Stay tuned as we fetch you the entertainment stories.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of Hits the Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to Hits Africa Radio and TV. Now let's do some entertainment news. Sarkodie donates 10K to support the surgery of 13-year-old brain tumor patient. Sarkodie donates 10K to support the surgery of 13-year-old brain tumor patient. So much noise about it. Rapper Sarkodie has kindly donated an amount of $10K to support the surgery of a brain tumor patient. Michael Kofi Isiama is a 13-year-old child who has been diagnosed with a brain tumor and needed an amount of $30K for treatment. A GoFundMe account was created for him, where individuals shared it on social media to solicit funds. Sarkodie, upon seeing it, was moved and shared the link on his Twitter timeline. That was not the end of it all. Our independent check reveals that the rapper, who has been tagged by many as stingy, did not hesitate to donate a whopping $10K, which represents over 30% of the entire money needed for the surgery. This kind gesture by Sarkodie encouraged others to give, which which has resulted in Michael Kofi Esiama raising more than $31K. When you look at the screenshots below, the top donation is $10K, and that was the amount Sarkodie donated toward the surgery of the young pup. 2 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor sitting in the middle of my brain. Doctors told my mother I would need 2 surgeries urgently. Due to high pressure in my head, intracranial pressure causing damage to my brain, an emergency surgery was done within 24 hours of my diagnosis, and a tube was placed to drain the fluid from my brain and stop the headaches. The second surgery to remove the tumor is scheduled for Tuesday, 6th April 2021. Due to the placement of the tumor, doctors are unsure they will be able to surgically remove all of it without fatal injuries. The part of the brain affected controls my breathing and other critical body functions. The plan is to undergo radiotherapy in the weeks and months following surgery to shrink the rest of the tumor that can't be removed. Moving on to other stories, rapper DMX suffers attack after overdosing, likely to be brain dead. One of the most recognizable faces of hip-hop in the late 90s and early 2000s, DMX is battling for his life in the hospital after he has had a heart attack. The American rapper, whose real name is L. Simmons, is reportedly in grave condition following a recent drug overdose, TMZ report. According to the report, the legendary Yonkers NY rapper is in the hospital with a dire prognosis after ordering the suffering a heart attack at his home last night around 11 p.m. He is reportedly in the White Plains, New York hospital being treated in the ICU. Sources say the rapper may be brain dead or in a vegetative stage. Here lies the end of today's news. Today happens to be the 5th of April 2021. Now let's do a recap of today's headlines. 4 accused of stealing granted bail. 2 Kaswa teenagers arrested for causing murder. Sarkodie donating $K to 13-year-old for surgery. These and many other stories we came along your way. This is Hit Africa Radio and TV. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles at Hit Africa Radio and TV. My name is Abena Ahwinie. Have a beautiful morning.